Hi everyone, Angela here. Welcome back to another video from Savvy Homemade. Today we're going to show you how to make a basic cold process soap. Before we start, I just want to run through some safety precautions. As you know, lye can be very dangerous when it comes into contact with your skin or eyes, so we need to take some protection by wearing an apron, long gloves and some goggles. So we're going to start by weighing out our oils. We need 330 grams of coconut oil, 380 grams of vegetable shortening and 300 grams of olive oil. Once it's combined in the bowl, I'm going to pop it to one side, ready for melting once I've mixed up my lye. And now I'm going to mix the lye using 145 grams of sodium hydroxide and 310 grams of distilled water. Always make sure to add the crystals to the water, otherwise you run the risk of being splashed and causing some nasty chemical burns. Stir the lye until it's completely dissolved, then set it aside in a safe but well ventilated place to cool. While the lye was cooling, I've melted the oils in the microwave using 30-second blasts, but the oils can also be melted on the stove in a stainless steel pan. I'm looking to balance both the oils and the lye between 140 to 120 Fahrenheit just before combining them. Slowly stir your lye into your oils. You could continue to stir manually with a spatula or spoon, but it's very time consuming, so I recommend using a stick blender. With a spoon it could take an hour to reach trace, whereas a blender just takes a few minutes. You may be wondering what trace is. Well, it's simply being able to leave a visible trace on the top of the batter before it sinks back in. Rather than blending continuously, I find it easier to blend in 30 or even 15-second bursts of blending and stirring. It just gives a better control over the batter as it begins to thicken, and it gives you time to check for trace in between each burst. So I'm at the point where the batter has begun to thicken and leave a trace on the surface. At this point, it's time to add your fragrance or essential oils. It's important to know that once you add them, it can have an effect on the thickness of the batter to the point where it can become so thick that it can be difficult to pour into the mould. This doesn't always happen. It depends on the oils that you are using and how they react to each other. So always make sure you have your mould ready before adding anything to the batter. I'm adding 25 ml of fragrance oil. Although it needs to be well combined, I still prefer to do this manually, as once again it gives more control over the batter. Now it's time to pour the mixture into the mould. If you have a lid, you can pop that on, or you can even use a piece of cardboard. In this case, I'm using an old soap cutting box. Cover the soap with a towel or blanket and leave to set for 24 hours or until hard. Wearing a pair of gloves, it's time to remove the soap from the mould. This can be a bit fiddly, so just gently manipulate the mould until the soap releases. It can take some time, so have a bit of patience. If you can't get it out, try leaving it for another 24 hours to dry out a little more. So here we have it, a perfect block of soap ready to be sliced into individual bars. The sliced bars will now need to stand and cure for around 4 weeks before using. Thank you for watching. For more DIY gifts and craft ideas, visit savvyhomemade.com.